that will happen because considering their own expenditure too. Nobody gets revenue and doesn't incur expenditure. When you look at the rising cost of everything, that's why government needs to disembark from education, funding education a little, and then do more of focusing on the economy. Focus on the economy, revamp the economy. Let's have our usual way of, these agri-produce things. Let's be an exporting country. Let us revamp electricity. Let's make our refinery to be working, to be active. When all these things are done, then the cost of living, the cost of production, and the cost of running institutions will, to a large extent, come down.
As an academic planner, what ratio of lecturer to how many students would you recommend, or do you think is ideal that we need?
I think it's around ratio 1 to 20 would be ideal.
A lecturer to 20 students. But for those of us who attended public institutions, we used to have Dugbe classes. You have been in the private environment.
I'm also a product of public institutions.
Exactly. So, do we still have anything like Dugbe classes?
It's too much.
At the private level,
it will never go away. It will never go away.
Even in the private institutions,
in private institutions, it's not like that. In fact,
that's what I'm saying.
To the best of my knowledge, not all private institutions. There are some, when you say private institutions too, we still have categories too. We have class. Okay. We have those in the forefront.
Okay.
But then, like my institution, for example, now, resources is equitably distributed.
Okay.
You have controlled number of people. We are not too much. So
there is a maximum number of students.
Of course, the students can enjoy the resources that are available.
Okay.
In fact, a student to a computer system.
Okay.
So you understand that what I'm saying. But in another institution, you can have 20 people to a computer. Assuming you want to have a computer class, a practical class. So that is not what's supposed to happen. At least it should be like 2 students to a system where you don't have, but where the resources are available, a system to a person. That is what it should be. And judging from that angle, you see that private institution has really helped. They have really, really helped in that area. I have not seen any private institution where you have Dugbe class. Like you said, it's very few, it's very rare. But in the public, that is still happening. You can't take it away.
So are you proposing that a public-private partnership in education, is likely going to help bring down the cost of tertiary education in Nigeria?
Tremendously. I so believe tremendously.
Which we don't seem to be having yet.
We should look in that direction. I think it's the right way to go.
What will a public-private institution look like? Is it like, take for instance, a particular bank partnering with the government? Exactly. Is that what you mean?
Exactly. Like we have stock exchange. Like we have those who are champions in the stock exchange playing, using their money. Let us have them also contribute. Let them have stock in education. That's what we mean. Let private sectors contribute to education. Let's begin to revamp the education sector. Let's leave government with government cannot, the whole public schools, public institutions that we have in Nigeria, government cannot take care of it. Yet they are establishing, they are granting license to new ones coming. So I think all these things, after some time, you become a voodoo. So it's something people just mere looking at universities, looking at no funding. What is the essence of creating universities that you cannot fund? So if private sectors come into play, they will also have benefit in the long run. You understand? But that is the way we can really help the education sector. Everybody, there will be sanity. Research will be able to thrive. The researches that have been done in these tertiary institutions today, how much has government used them? We have a lot of people who have worked on so many topics, what has been the outcome? It has not really helped us as a nation.
But the private institutions should have been helping to solve that problem already.
Yes, of course, because
we are not under government control.
Of course, that is going on. Private institutions are really coming in and they are helping in so many ways. Don't forget that the tripartite function of every university is, teaching, research, and then community development. So many private institutions that are established in so many areas over the country are really helping to develop the community where they are, and so many carrying out so many projects. Like my institution, for example, a host number of times we have rolled out, free medical services, because in my university we do nursing, we do medical laboratory science, so we have rolled out so many services to people in the rural area.
You said it the other time. You said the university as an institution is expected to focus more on universality of knowledge, more of theories than practicals that polytechnics and monotechnics are expected to deal with. You said it the other time.
No.
But it seems in Nigeria right now, it seems we have more of private investors in the university education. Why is it that way? Why don't we have more of investors establishing polytechnics, monotechnics, since Nigeria in truth seems to need more of practicality as in application of knowledge to solving our problems? What do you think about this?
I need to clarify an area there. I didn't say that polytechnic do more of practical than university. What I said is that
is that not what is expected to be?
Our own understanding, that the expectation is that polytechnics should dwell more on practicals. Okay, but that not to say you should take that away from universities too.
Okay.
You understand? Okay. Universities too should do that too. In fact, they should even do more, because they are supposed to be the apex, at the top. But in the private universities that we have now have really helped in that area, because when these private settings have more access to fund, they at their own level. So with that, practicability is not a problem for such. It's only the public universities that are crying for neglect of funding from the government. So with private, to some extent, although there is no private that is self-sufficient, that says, I'm okay with my funding. No. But then, to some extent, they are better off.
But what we're saying is that it seems we have more of private investors in the university education. Why don't we have more private investors in the polytechnic?
That will naturally happen, because people believe that university education is the apex. Once you go to a polytechnic, if I'm creating a polytechnic, for example, now, and I know at the end of the day, if somebody graduates with HND from the polytechnic, the person, if he wants to go further in academia, he has to still go to university. So why don't we create a university where you have the universality of knowledge? So there is nothing that is above the university. So that's why I think most people who are investors go into that area.
But there is another sentiment that a university education is not a child's play.
It is not.
It's not an all-commerce job. It's not every Tom, Dick and Harry that should say, I have the money, then I set up a university, which is believed to be happening. But we all agree that we need more universities to be set up. How do we strike a balance between setting up more universities and avoiding lowering the standard? How do we strike a balance?
I think in economics, demand complements supply. Demand complements supply. And what I mean by that is that if Nigerian populace, especially the youth, are still clamoring to be admitted into university, the market is out there. A whole number of Nigerian children, every year in, year out, you find out they don't get admitted into universities. So because the market is there will be that tendency for people to create more universities. Probably their own belief is that it is not enough. When you create more, you still get more. And people are getting students. You understand? So, but it will soon get to a time where you find out that there will be saturation. And people will have to dwell more on maintaining their universities. And government too should take a stand. Okay? We have got this also number of these universities. Let's see how we, maintain these universities. I think that should be the next thing we should be focusing on. Not just creating for fun. If you create a university and it's not well funded, you won't get accredited by NUC.
Then under the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, there was this emphasis on the need for the integration of distant learning programs. And the former president actually made sure that the Open University was set up, which we can see seems to be meeting a lot of needs these days. Why are we not experiencing more of distant learning programs springing up in Nigeria?
Well, I think
especially in the private, whatever.
I think that falls in the purview of NUC. Like I said, don't forget we have a regulating body that regulates anything, all the programs, operation of any university. So that is within the purview of NUC. If NUC will allow that, so be it. If they will not, I wouldn't know. But it is not what private universities could do. I work with private universities. It is not private universities that will determine, okay, we want to establish distant learning.
But a private university can have distant learning programs.
It can happen, but we have not seen any that is happening, so to say, except you have what we call collaborative program. You understand? For example, my university can collaborate with another university in Canada. For example, now you can have shared educational, benefits and something like that. But to operate like the way you have now, National Open University of Nigeria, I think that is established by government. So that's not established by an individual. If that is to happen, then we are waiting for it to happen. We have not seen anyone operating like that. If you understand what I mean.
Are you saying a private university like yours does not have the right to start a distant learning program?
What I'm saying is that as a private university, you have gotten your license. You can always have campuses. You can operate campus in Shogbo here. You can operate another campus elsewhere. You understand me? But for a private university in Nigeria that got this license in Nigeria, operating a distant learning, how will it operate? Usually, our operation is students will come to the university and get taught. So the idea of distant learning or open university is that lecturers teach over the internet. There's no physical teaching. So I think COVID-19 too has helped us in that direction. Any university too will use that too. There are some lecturers in my university too that can give notes. They can teach via what do you call it? Via internet, digital
teaching,
virtual teaching.
On a parting note, your words of admonition, encouragement to HND holders, irrespective of what may be the observable discriminations. On parting note,
my advice for them is that they should not waver. They should not despair. Whoever has found himself or herself in a polytechnic, endeavor to do well, study well, and come out better. When you come out from that polytechnic, if you need more education in the university setting, go for it. And to the government should pump in funding, either to polytechnic or universities. Every of these universities, all of them needs funding, adequate funding. And then it is high time we begin to look at private-public partnership.
That's a very beautiful point that has been raised on this conversation this morning. Public-private partnership in the education business. I don't want to call it business, but it is a business in a way that Nigeria needs more. And our focus this morning has been the standard of degrees awarded by the polytechnics and the monotechnics. Well, we can just be getting better. There is no other way to go. It's unnatural to be going backward. We can only be going forward.
For whatever.
So we do hope that it will be getting better. Our standard of education in Nigeria, we hope it will be getting better. And the idea of brain drain that the country seems to be suffering from right now, it is also our hope that there will be improvement and things will get better. We appreciate everyone tuning in to M Cafe OSBC TV this morning. Our guest has been Mr. Bamidele Bisuriyu from the Academic Planning Unit of Fountain University. Thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it. Special thanks to the ends behind the deck, the MCR VTR. Yes, the producer, Olushola Ogule, thank you so much. Executive producer, Olasukomi Ibayo, thank you for all the efforts. My name is Benga Famino. Appreciating you. Till we come your way tomorrow, another edition of AM Cafe. This is wishing you a blessed day. Goodbye and God bless.
ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀. Ìgbà yìí o a san wá síre. Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀. Ìgbà yìí o a tù wá lára. Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀. Ìgbà yìí o a san wá síre. Ìgbà ọ̀tun ti dé aráyé ẹ wá bá wa yọ̀. Ìgbà yìí o a tù wá lára. Ìgbà yìí a tù wá lára o láyé Adémọ́lá. Àṣẹ. Ìgbà yìí a tù wá lára o láyé Ọmọdéléke. Àṣẹ. A tù wá lára ọmọ lówó lọ́wọ́. Àṣẹ. A tù wá lára ọmọ kọ́lé mọ́lé. Àṣẹ. A tù wá lára ọmọ dímọ́lé mọ́. Àṣẹ. A tù wá lára ètò ayé bí ètò. Àṣẹ. A tù wá lára ẹ̀yà dùn bí ẹyẹ. Àṣẹ. A tù wa lára. Àṣẹ. Àgbàmọ́wọ́